Hey guys, it's Miss Wolfson. I wanted to record a video to help you with the discussion post for today's literacy assignment. I hope you were able to watch the mini lesson that Miss Norris posted, where she kind of taught us how the point of view of the speaker can affect how a story is told, and that's true in poetry as well. So she walked us through an example of answering some of the questions about point of view from a poem on the snail. And now your independent practice is to do that same type of activity on two more poems. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the first poem, which is called Dust of Snow by Robert Frost, and we're going to answer the questions. You can see I have my poem here, and I have the questions that we're going to answer on the right, and then that will be the first discussion post. And then for the second discussion post, there's another poem called A Bird Came Down the Walk by Emily Dickinson, and I'll pull that one up in a minute when we get to it. And I'm going to read it out loud and kind of give you a little bit of maybe some suggestions or some support there. But then I've created a template for you to fill in on your own. So we're going to kind of do this one together. I'm going to walk you through it, this first poem. And then you can post that in the discussion. And then for the second discussion post, the second poem, you're going to do a little bit more independently on your own, but I am going to read it aloud for you. So let's go through. So remember, the first thing Miss Norris did is she read her poem all the way through. And then she went back and considered each question and would go back and kind of read different stanzas or different part of the poem to bring evidence to support her answers. So this is Dust of the Snow by Robert Frost. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's happening here. So it seems like our speaker is walking along somewhere, doesn't really tell us where, but there's a crow that is in a tree. A hemlock is just a kind of tree. So there's a crow that's sitting in this hemlock tree, and apparently it moved or caused the branch to drop down some snow that's stuck on the tree. And I don't know if that's ever happened to you. Just this morning when I was walking out to get the mail, we had so much rain and everything. Well, I bumped into a branch of the tree in our front yard, and while it wasn't raining at the time, it felt like it was because rain fell down from the tree. So that's kind of what I pictured when I read this poem, is this guy walking by this tree, and there's this bird up there that causes some snow to fall down on him. Okay? So then the second stanza talks about what the person's reaction was to that. So he says it gave his heart a change of mood. So it kind of stopped him from feeling one way and made him feel a different way. And it saved some part of a day I had rued. Now, rude means to kind of hate. If you hear rue the day, it's kind of like dread or is very negative. It has a very negative meaning. Does not mean you're enjoying the day. So I think that shows us that the speaker was not having a good day. And then this action of this bird saved some part. It kind of changed his mood a little bit. So it seems to me like he's looking at this as kind of a positive, funny experience. So let's think about that as we answer these questions. So the first one says, in the dust of snow, how does the narrator's view affect how the story is told? So I'm going to say the speaker tells what happens to him. Okay, so and the way it makes him feel. Okay, so as he's telling us that this bird, this crow, shook down some snow on him, the perspective of the poem is exactly what happened to him and the way it made him feel. Okay, so we could say the crow in the tree made the snow fall on him, and he thought it was funny. So we're hearing about his perspective and how he felt in the actions that happened to him. Okay? What is the purpose of the speaker of the poem? Why is what's the purpose of this poem? So if I think back on, it really is just relating an experience and how he's walking along and this happens and then it changed his mood. So maybe how it's telling us about a time that something happened to him to help change his mood or help get him in a better mood, or it's kind of relating the idea that different things that happen to us can cause us to react in a way that changes our mood or brightens our day, something like that. So I may say, let's say, I want this to be in blue again because I just feel like it makes it stand out a little better for you guys. The purpose of the poem is to tell us about how an experience changed the speaker's day. Okay? And I think we can kind of all relate to that. So as we're going through our day and something happens, that can either make our day better or worse. We're kind of affected by the experiences we have or the things that happen to us. Number 3, how does the narrator of the poem describe the crow? Well, here this first stanza is what's really talking about the crow, and it says the crow shook down some snow from the tree. So when I read that, it made me kind of picture this crow as sitting up in this tree and almost trying to shake down some snow or make some snow fall from the tree on this man that walked by. So, I kind of, it made me picture the crow as very involved in the story. It wasn't just like, what I told you about hitting the tree branch, like I accidentally ran into the branch and it knocked down the rain. But in this poem, it was actually the bird, the crow, who caused that to happen. And I kind of, the way I read it, pictured him as trying to do that. So it makes him kind of seem a little mischievous or, maybe out to get the guy or interacting with the speaker, somebody who's walking by. So let's see. I'm going to say the speaker describes the crow as causing the snow to fall on him. Okay? It makes him seem like he might be a little I don't really know how to spell this. Mischievous. Okay, and that's just my take. If you don't necessarily think that that the author meant for the crow to sound that way, you can change that around. But when I read it, that is really the way I felt. I pictured this little crow looking and saying, "Ooh, here comes somebody. Let me shake this branch and see if I can make some snowfall on them." So you can kind of interpret that a different way if you want to, but mainly you're responding to this first stanza right here where it describes the crow. Okay, and it definitely describes him as causing the snow to fall down. Okay, And then our last question, how might this story be different if another character had told it? So the other character in this story, or in the poem, is the crow. So how would this poem be different if it was told from the crow's point of view? Well, first of all, I think we would learn if the crow really meant to drop the snow on him as he walked by or not. So I'm going to say something like, we would hear the crow's thoughts and explanation of what happened. It would help us know if he meant to make snow fall on the man walking by. Okay, so that should help you with your with the first discussion post. And now for the second, I want to read this poem out loud, and then you're going to use the template that I wrote to answer your questions and post your response, okay? So the second poem is called A Bird Came Down the Walk by Emily Dickinson. A bird came down the walk, he did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw. And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass, and then hopped sideways to the wall to let a beetle pass. He glanced with rapid eyes that hurried all abroad. They looked like frightened beads, I thought. He stirred his velvet head, like one in danger, cautious. I offered him a crumb. He unrolled his feathers and rowed him softer home. Then oars divide the ocean, to silver for a seam, or butterflies off banks of noon leap, splash less as they swim. So in this poem, just a little explanation. There is a speaker, the narrator is watching this bird and describing the actions, from eating a worm to drinking some dew. Then the bird starts acting kind of funny or cautious, maybe like it's scared. The speaker tries to feed the bird, and then it flies off. And it's describing how kind of softly and seamlessly the bird flies. So you're going to use that information to answer these questions that I posted right here. So you can just copy and paste this as a template into the second discussion post and answer your questions about what you think is happening in that poem and how the point of view of the narrator affects those things. All right, good luck.